Hello everybody and welcome back to another stream of Skievers Shenanigans. We already got one weirdo comment in the chat that's like telling me that my they're like, yo dude, you saw your stream's kinda dead right now. And they want me to buy follows from them. And I'm like, bro, my stream hadn't even started. Of course there's there's no people in here. But anyway. Hello Katooth, how are you? There's a real person in my chat. A real person that I enjoy chatting with on my chat. I'm just gonna ban that person. How are you? Sharky passed on your message about squash. So already shadow blocked before the stream. Yeah, I did see actually that it said, yeah, it was held a message for smart smart detection, and allow will post to the chat. So yeah, I didn't click anything. I just banned them. So, but anyway, I'm gonna open this crispy Coke since it's a stream night. I'm gonna have my Coke. But let's get it. I don't really know what we're going to do today. Hopefully, it actually works. We've been having so many issues with, the internet lately. I don't know if you've been having the same kind of issues, Katooth. But we've had, like, that many, issues with internet. Alright, let's go. We might just go... let me go down. Oh, let me go down. And have a look. No, so I'm guessing... your internet's been fine. RIP, so it's just me then. Oh, I need to plug my phone in. It's been so long. It has been a few weeks. Sharky was trying to get stuff sorted. Oops. Although I've been out of town, Rax on it. Oh, nice. Were you away for holidays? I'll just quickly open up this stream. Oops, that's the wrong way, but okay, that'll be fun. Alright, let's skedaddle. Let me just quickly open up a browser so I can search Iron Golem. No, not Iron. Copper Golem. Let's see. Alright. Unoxidized, exposed, and weathered. That's fine. How do I build it? I should have looked this up before I started the stream. Nice. I need to go back up. Yeah, I think we had internet issues all weekend. This morning. Oh yeah, okay. A carved pumpkin. And then a copper block, so yep, okay. Let's get back to Minecraft. feel like I probably have all of those now. Maybe I don't know if I have any copper actually. Oh yeah, I do. I only need 9. My inventory is full. Cactus flower. Okay. And now we need to get a pumpkin. And get some shears. Do I not have any shears? Oh, how do I make? Oh no, she's got shears in there. She's there. Okay, there we go. Oh no! Thank you. Thanks, Katoob. I totally forgot to turn off my title page. And that's funny because I even have the stream open on my phone. It's probably like both an issue with the screen and no, just kidding. It's an issue with me. It's a me issue. Alright, let's see. Alright, F3, not F3. E. Alright, let's make an iron golem. Oh look, there it is. It's so cute. I feel like, can I move this? Oh yeah, I can. Okay, good. Do I have anything that needs sorting out? Oh no, I don't. Look at how cute it is. It's so cute. Alright, let's try it out. Let's put that, and that, and that, and that, and that in, and see what happens. It's so cute. It's gonna look through all the chests and find where yeah, so I didn't have any cactuses. Do I have any oh, I could just cook it actually because I got cooked pork chop in my oh, and I got cooked pork chop there too. Baked potato. Okay. Alright. Good job, little golem. You're doing great. Oops. Okay, I need those. And I need those. And I need those. I don't think I have any of those, so... It kind of sounds like a cat. It's cute. Okay. keep the coal though. I'll put the coal in there. Put that up there and that up there. And right here, I'll put that in. Alright, I say, let's just go exploring. I feel like we've got everything we need, so let's just go this way. And try not to die because I'm already partly dying. Finally finished watching UK Traders yesterday I think, yeah. And I was happy with the finale and who won. I was hoping that would be the case. I am disappointed though that Jonathan Ross and Stephen Fry got voted out like so early, but of course they were never. Those two were never going to get to the finale. They were just too big of names and too suspicious. I mean, obviously Jonathan Ross was a traitor, but Stephen Fry was innocent. But they were just too big names that they were never going to go to the end. And yeah, it was good that like Alan Carr was able to turn everybody onto Joe and then take it out. Because the first season I watched, I wanted the Traders to win. And yeah, they didn't win. They got like the last trader that was there got voted out right at the end, and if it wasn't for the other trader, like, you know, dobbing him in, then he would have won, because they were 100% convinced from the start that he was innocent. So it was a bit disappointing. We shall see. I'm hearing it because she's saying, ooh, Traders, yeah. The TV show? I can't tell if you're just saying, like, it to be sarcastic or... Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that's what I was like, I need some more context. Yeah. I was picturing Stephen Fry in a trader. Traitor. Yeah, not trader. Oops. Almost jarred there. Ooh, the real question is, do I have my boat on me? Oh yeah, I do. Yeah. Did you watch Traitors? I thoroughly enjoyed it. I watched once. Oops, didn't mean to turn all the way around. I watched one season of. Oh, okay. It's kind of like. I watched one. I'll say what I'm finished saying first, and then I'll tell you what happens in it. So, I watched one season of UK Traitors because I think there's an American version that I think Sharky has watched. And I watched season 1 of UK Traitors just so I could get a feel for the game and a feel for the host and stuff. So basically it's have you heard of like Werewolf or Mafia or like that game where you like there's, you know, like the killers or whatever, and then each night they murder someone and then the next day you gotta like vote. Yeah, so it's basically that, but they they also do challenges to get money. So obviously, like regular people in the first season I watched, they're winning to get money for themselves, but obviously the celebrities were winning to get money for their charity. And yeah, so there's different challenges like every day, and then every night they go to the round table and they choose who to banish, and then it's revealed whether or not they were a traitor or whether they were a faithful. So if basically, yeah, you want all the traitors to be gone, because if you get to the end and you decide to end the game, then any traitors that are left take the money. But if you end the game and it's all faithfuls, then you split the money with however many faithfuls there are. So, and sometimes when traitors are voted off, they can choose to try and recruit a faithful into their team. So in the first season that I watched, they asked someone to be a traitor, and they chose not to. And then the next time, towards the end, when there was only one left, they forced someone to be a traitor. So they met face to face at midnight, because they said the traitors have an offer for you. And then when they met face to face, it was either you become a traitor with me or I kill you tonight. And then, yeah, when he got voted out, he made a nod to the other guy who'd been a traitor from day one, and that was the only reason that his friends that he'd made knew that he was a traitor, because otherwise and even like at the end of the game, they do like one final banishment to say who's a traitor or who's a faithful, and then at the end of the game, after that, they then go to like a big bonfire, and they choose whether or not to end the game. So they have to pick from two bags, either a bag that's going to light up green or a bag that's going to light up red. So if they believe there's no more traitors in the game, then the green bag gets thrown in the fire and the game ends. And if there are any traitors, then they win the money. And if anyone, because it's like final four, so if anyone decides at that point that no, there are still traitors in this game, then they have to go and do another banishment then and there, and there's no discussion, because obviously at the round table they're discussing who they think is acting guilty and who, like, there's no, like, it's not like the mole, because the traitors also want to win money, so they're also doing their best to win challenges to get the prize money up. So it's not like that sense where they're sabotaging. So it's just, yeah, your own gameplay and just how you're acting. Because obviously some people are really good at hiding, and some people are, like, if you talk too much, you could be a traitor. If you don't talk enough, you could be a traitor. Like, there's sort of been both. You kind of have to not lead the conversation, but sometimes you kind of have to lead. Yeah, so, and in the first season I watched, one person chose to end the game because she thought that they were all faithful, and then the other two did. So they still, like, went around the circle for everybody. But yeah, and then they had to vote, and they voted him out. And then they all chose to end the game, and they won because he was a traitor. But in the celebrity one, when it got to, I think, the last banishment, and then the banishment at the end where they did actually banish someone, because they all said there was another traitor. what am I saying? They they all chose to do it. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so what I was saying, at the last banishment and then the banishment at the end fire, it got to the point where the host said you will no longer be told. So they didn't know for certain whether or not there was another traitor still, and whether the person they voted out was a traitor. And of course he wasn't, because there was a traitor left in the end, and he won. He took the win. And they were all like, he straight away, he was like, oops. He was like so upset. He was like, I'm so sorry for betraying you. And instantly they were like, no, it's fine, you played an amazing game and stuff. Like they comforted him for playing such a good game, because yeah, he truly did convince them that the other guy was guilty. And by that he was able to win. So yeah, it's a good show. I enjoyed it. I feel like, I can't remember how many seasons of the UK one there was, like maybe 4 or 5 or something. And yeah, like I think I'll go back and I'll go and watch the other seasons now. Like I just whipped through the first season just so I could see exactly how the game worked. And some of the like challenges, like one of the challenges in this celebrity trader one was like a banshee challenge. So they like went out into the forest and there was these people dressed up, and then they'd like scream/sing a tune, and then the contestants had to like run over to they had to run over to a well, and half the team was on one end of the well and the other half of the team was on the other half of the well, and they had to like scream/sing in into the well in order to like get the message across. And then they had to run up and pick a locket, open the locket, and all the lockets sang certain tunes. They had to like match the right tune to the right name. So that was a really good one. But yeah, anyway. Long ago, I had a friend really into The Amazing Race and got me watching it. Same friend then convinced me to watch the new show, The Mole. I told him that I thought The Mole was very amateurish production. They leave tasks ambiguous. Amazing Race is a lot better made. He got very upset that I didn't realise the poorly worded tasks were on purpose. Yeah, fair. Sharky was really into The Amazing Race. He watched The Amazing Race. I can't remember when he stopped. When we first got married, we would watch The Amazing Race when it was on. He didn't watch this season's Amazing Race. I watched it, and it was not as good as it used to be, I didn't think. But we quite enjoyed The Mole. We always wanted to go on The Mole or on The Amazing Race. But I mean, I also wanted to go on like MKR and MasterChef. And I also wanted to go on Australian Idol. I haven't watched it for a long time, 20 years. I felt they were starting to try to fully read it. Yeah, definitely. And there was one contestant on this season. She was so annoying. She drove me nuts. And I kept hoping every episode. I was like, oh, I hope she gets out. I hope she gets out. I hope she gets out. And she didn't. She made it all the way to the finale. But thankfully she didn't win. She came third. Like the two teams that I liked in that order came first. So the Curry brothers, Stephen and Bernard Curry, from The Castle and a few other things, they came first, and then Rob Mills and his partner, his fiance, Georgie, I think it was, they came second. So they were the ones that I wanted to come first and second, so I was happy about that. So yeah, so we stopped. We were waiting to start the Celebrity Traders when we finished the current season of 24 that we were on. We whipped through the end of 24 so we could watch the Traitors, because they're like hour-long episodes or something. And I mean, they're some free to air, so it's like, an hour with ads or something. Might not be an hour, might be like 40 minutes. The first one was like 70 or 80 minutes. Or The Voice. I don't think I've ever watched The Voice. I never got into it at the start of it, but I enjoyed The Masked Singer, and I never like Sharky always watched Dancing with the Stars, like with his parents. Oops, 136 minus 430. Yeah, so he always watched. In my farm. Yeah, he always watched Amazing Race. With his family. I've heard similar complaints about Australian Idol and The Block and MKR, that they tried to move more into the genre. Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm currently watching MKR. There's only one episode left, which I think is tonight. I want to say it's tonight, but just the drama. It's like nuts. It drives me insane sometimes, because it's like they focus so much on the drama and they don't focus on the cooking, and like I'm kind of annoyed because there's been one team who like openly confessed to like strategic scoring, and they're in the finale, which I assume is on tonight. I assume it's on right now. I'll watch it tomorrow. If it's on tonight, I'll watch it tomorrow when I have my lunch. But like, yeah, they openly admitted to strategic scoring, which just isn't right. I'm like, if you strategic score, you should not be allowed in. So it's just annoying. And the amount of things they were saying, it was obvious they were strategic scoring, like they're saying, like in the last round of Instant Restaurant, like I can't remember what it's called, but like they go back around again and they have to make 2 of every dish. So contestants get to choose which dish they want out of, so you've got to have 2 entrees and 2 mains and 2 desserts, and each team picks which of the dishes they would like. They got to both have the same dish, but they have to obviously be prepared for both, like for each team to pick all of both, so they have to prepare for both. And yeah, and so they moved this year for, I think, the first time ever that I can recall, that they had to open scoring. So they openly scored at the table and they openly critiqued at the table. Which was good, but at the same time, like, these 2 contestants who are in the finale now, like, I remember at one of the restaurants, they're saying, oh, we just didn't like it, we just didn't think, and they're saying all these things about it, and, like, the judges, this, they're going on about how they didn't think it was right and all this, but then the judges are scoring them a 10, so it's just like, it can't be that bad if the judges are scoring a 10. Like, you're just saying this because you want to be in front of them. And it's funny because, like, one of the contestants who was the underdog, who just got voted out in the last episode, but, like, from the start, people have, like, oh, because they were the youngest team in the the competitions ever had. So they were all like, oh, you know, like, you're never gonna win. And yeah, like, they beat all these other teams and got to the semi-finals and only just got, like, pipped at the post. But, like, you know, like, they were saying about, you know, how bad they did, but, like, and saying, oh no, we think we're certain that we can beat this. But it's like every time that the youngest team cooked, they were on above them in the leaderboard. So it's like, you know, put your money where your mouth is. But anyway, I've never watched any of the cooking shows because I'm really not into fancy food. Yeah, same. I know. I'm like, I watch them, but I'm like, in reality, I would not eat like half of these things, and I'm just like, oh yeah, okay. I'm not like a big seafood. Like, I would try it, but yeah. I mean, like, the guys who are in the finale who I want to win, they cooked a tripe curry, and I'm like, I don't know if I could bring myself to eat it. I'm just like, I don't think I could do it. Oh, that was a suspicious one, I'm pretty sure. Because of the sound it made when it broke, I'm pretty sure it broke something. Was at a big fancy restaurant one night and was at an expensive fancy restaurant one night of a big family gathering. Yeah, up at the bay, yep. We ordered kids steak and chips and kids fish. Nice. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. I tend to stick with, like, sometimes I'm like, okay, I'll try something new, but then a lot of the time I'm just like, yeah, nah, just give me Old Faithful, like, either like a schnitzel or a steak or, you know, a burger or something. But yeah, I'm just, oh they didn't stack, of course. Let me put this in here. Rotten flesh. But yeah, I feel you. You know, I'd be like, you know, I'd go on MasterChef and be like, oh, this has olives in it. I don't like olives. Gross. Like, 0 out of 10 because all I can taste is olive. The steak was nice but tiny. I would have liked the adult size one, but I also would have been asking to remove the other 7 ingredients from the dish and paying 4 times. Yeah, I know. I wish, like, restaurants would make things cheaper. Like, if you take things out. Like, that would be great if McDonald's did that, because, like, quite often at McDonald's, like, my favourite thing is the Big Mac, but it's, like, way too much bread for me. So I'll quite often order a Big Mac with no bun, which is, like, perfect, and they give me cutlery, and that's fine, but, like, they don't make it any cheaper, even though I'm making it, like, a whole lot, like, less. But anyway. You know, the only time they make it cheaper is, if you say no meat. Which I'm like, I ain't doing that. McDonald's did do that for a while, and people found, yeah, of course they did. And I'm like, I'm not exploiting it, I promise. Like, I just don't want that much bread. So, I see. Yeah, as I said, I think the only time they do that is when you get no meat. I think it is cheaper then, but they used to do it back like 25 years ago and had to stop because people found a loophole, then brought it back with the touchscreen ordering about 5 years ago. Yeah, okay, that's fair. It's disappointing that, like, people do the wrong thing and ruin it for the rest of us, because it's like, I want to be able to, I would like a slight discount for not ordering bun. It's always the way, though. I mean, it's the same with, like, people who are on disability pensions and stuff, like, through Centrelink, they have to go through so many loopholes just to prove that they're sick, and then there's people who exploit the system and get away with it. Some people found there was some burger that you could remove all ingredients and get a 10-cent burger. So to do that 50 times, you get $5 discount. Yeah, fair. Yeah, you could just do it like, you get a 10-cent burger, like each piece for 10 cents, like take off all, like do an order of just the meat and then just the cheese and then just the bun and just the sauce, like. Oh, minus 10 cents. Yeah, I completely missed that minus. Like, that's crazy. I mean, Macca's could do with losing some of their profit, though. The thing that gets me, though, is when, McDonald's ask you to donate, and not just McDonald's, but all places, like they're like, oh, round up for charity, and which, like, fair enough, but at the same time, like, it comes off their records that they're the ones that donated all that, but it's not them, it's the customer. And I'm just like, I'll donate to charity myself, thanks. I'll do it in my own way, not by giving you an extra 10 cents of my money. I never go there anymore. Prices and wait times went up and quality went down to the point that it's worse than it used to be. Than what used to be. Yeah, I know, right? It's pretty bad. I got some. I feel like it was a month ago or something, and I ordered on the app. And I paid, and they were like, oh, sorry, the payment didn't go through. And it still said it was pending in my bank. So I'm like, okay, whatever. They're like, can you pay again? So I did. And then when I looked a couple days later, I was like fully charged for like I was charged twice for the exact same order, like minutes apart. And it was it was a month ago because it was the long weekend. So I had to wait till after the long weekend to see whether or not I was going to get charged twice because they were both still pending. And then by the time I realized, it was like, I don't know, it was like a week later or so. I'd been checking daily for like a week or whatever, or a few days, because I think it was like the Friday or something. So I checked on, it didn't come out till like the Wednesday or something. And yeah, and they both came out. And I didn't check until like ages after that. And I was like, oh no. So then I did get charged twice, which was very disappointing. And Sharky was like, oh, you should like call the bank. But I was like, oh, it's too late now. I felt like I couldn't call the bank at that point then. Rascal have a bowl option. You can order any of their burgers and ingredients except the one. Yeah, that's great. That's like near Town Hall, isn't it? Oh, there's the Iron Golem. He's like stuck. I'll fix him in a minute. Oh, that doesn't have a bed. Excuse me, can I sleep in your bed, please? Thank you. Betty's Burgers, in, near us, they have a lettuce bun, and I think, I want to say, Burger Urge, I think it's called. They also have, I think they also have a lettuce bun. So quite often, if I'm going to either of the, I mean, I've only been to Betty's Burgers once because it's like new. But they, have go move. Right. Can you get out of there though? But I do like the burger bowl option. I feel like I don't know where I've heard that recently. It wasn't Rascal. I have obviously heard of Rascal. I was going to go there once actually, and then they were closed, so I wasn't able to go. There you go. Gotcha. But yeah, I feel like it was somewhere recently where they had just started doing like a burger bowl. Or maybe it was a recipe I saw on TikTok. I can't remember. Everything melds into one. I'm still trying to catch up on sleep because Sunday night Mini Sharky woke up in the middle of the night struggling to breathe. So we spent all night at the hospital, which was so frustrating, but I mean sometimes that's what you gotta do as a parent. But it was a very long night. We got there at 9:30 at night and we got home at 4:30 in the morning. So it was very long and time consuming. But he's alright. He, because he's kind of sounded like he had a croupy cough, like, because Minnie, Skievers has had croup when she was younger, so I was like, and he'd had a cough for a couple of days, so, but like Sunday afternoon it really exacerbated. Like Saturday he was sort of coughing every so often, and then like if he was running or stuff like that, doing, you know, heavier exercise, he would cough. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll keep him home Sunday morning instead of going to church. But then he woke up Sunday morning and he wasn't too bad and he wasn't really coughing. So I was like, oh, well, still go to church. So we went to church. That was fine. And then we went over to Sharky's parents for lunch. And he was like outside for a bit. He wasn't like running around, but he was swinging on the swing and he was riding his bike and stuff. So he was like doing stuff, but he wasn't really coughing. So I was like, oh, that's good. You know, maybe we might be sort of towards the end of it. And then when we got home, Sunday afternoon, like mid to late sort of afternoon after lunch and stuff, it was like, oh, well, he was just coughing every, 30 seconds. And I was like, oh, that's like really annoying. And he didn't really want to eat his dinner. Like, I had to force him his dinner, even though I gave them noodles for dinner, and that's like, he loves when he is allowed to have noodles. And yeah, so I was like, oh, he's not doing too well. But didn't think anything of it, just continued to give him Panadol and put Vicks on his chest and put his vaporizer on. And then, yeah, he woke up at like 9:15, and he was really struggling to breathe. And it sounded kind of like croupy cough. So I was like, oh, I'm going to have to take him to the hospital. And so I did. And he was happy enough to go to the hospital. He actually said about going to the hospital the day before, because that's just the thing. If you're sick, you go to the hospital. And I was like, no, you're fine. Like, you don't need to go to the hospital. And yeah, like said, he was a bit better by the time we got to the hospital, but he still wasn't quite right. And Sharky and I just sort of decided I would just sit there and wait. He stayed at home with mini Skievers, because otherwise it was like, we're going to have to get someone to come. And he also had work on Monday. So it was like, there's no point in us both being there. And then, yeah, like we, when we finally saw that, they were like, oh, we're low on staff in pediatrics, so it's probably be a while. And I was like, okay. And a lot of people were just leaving and going home. And I thought about that, but I was like, oh, look, we've waited this long. We'll just wait and see. I'd rather be like the doctor say, it's nothing, or it's not as bad, and to check his chest and everything, then, have to then go home and then wait. Oh yeah, look at these doggos. And then, yeah, have to come back. Let me make a note of this area so I can come back later. No, 6315 67 3404. Doggos. Yeah, and in the end she just said he had a viral infection and he just was struggling to breathe because he was congested, obviously, because as adults we know that when we're sick and when we're congested, like, we try to sleep obviously a bit more upright, because we know that will help and we won't be choking on our own congestion. But obviously as a kid, he doesn't understand that. So that was fine, because I was like, well, regardless of, like, nice. Regardless of what happens with yeah, I just made those breed. I need bones. Lol. Yeah, I was like, regardless of what happens anyway, I would have been sitting in his room, in his bed, all night, just to make sure that he was fine and breathing fine. So I was like, we may as well just sit at the hospital. And so we did, and he, like, fell asleep, on and off. He woke up, like, and it was funny actually, because one of my friends turned up with her son, and she saw us and came and sat with us. So it was kind of good because we were there to, like, comfort each other, and yeah, and she's like, oh, what's wrong? And I'm like, same thing as you, because I overheard her talking to the triage, And to the nurse, so I was like, yeah, same thing as you, but her son was a lot worse than mine. And they ended up giving him medication because he actually did have they thought he had croup, so they gave him steroid medication, which is what Minnie Skievers had when she had croup, which was part of the reason why I was going there too, because I was like, if it is croup, then obviously you want something to make it better. So yeah, so they gave him that, and they left at 12:30, 1:45, and so they went back home and went to bed, and they went to the GP the next day. And yeah, it was a very long wait. But they said his chest was clear and he just had a viral infection, so that was relieving. And he's been much better since, so. Okay, what's Katu saying? We were in emergency last week, got a bit of a runaround with GP access directing us to emergency. How annoying. Eventually they ordered some blood tests, which they sent to the wrong GP practice, so we still haven't managed to get them. Oh. Yeah, so it turned out to be the same thing. When I messaged her the next morning to let her know, so we got home at 4:30. By the time I got him to bed, got myself sorted, and went to bed myself, it was a few minutes to 5 a.m. My alarm goes off at 6. So I had texted Sharky to tell him everything that happened. I'd been updating him as the night went on, and he messaged me when he went to bed. He stayed up later, just in case. And I'd already messaged his mum the night before, so she was on call to take Minnie Skievers to school. So that's what happened. I texted him to say, can you get her to come over and take Minnie Skievers to school and just let me sleep as long as I can? And so that was fine. So he ended up working from home on Monday just so he could be there. And yeah, I woke up just before 9, as it took me ages to get to sleep. By the time I actually got into bed, then I just wasn't tired. So I woke up just before 9, and then I went and woke Minnie Sharky between 9:30 and 10 after I'd had my breakfast and been up for a little bit. So, and then when I messaged her, she said that her doctor said that her son had a viral infection as well. But there were quite a few kids that were coming for the same symptoms, and then as the child got better, they just went home because they didn't want to wait. And I was like, look, I'm here. I've driven, the closest hospital, or the hospital that I went to, was 20 minutes away. So I gotta drive 20 minutes in the dark. And then when it was time to go home, there was heaps of kangaroos on the road, so I had to be cautious driving with kangaroos everywhere. I saw 5 kangaroos on the way home in the 20-minute drive, and 3 of them were on the road. So one of them, that was a group of 2. It was actually a group of 3, but only 2 of them were on the road. They took forever. It was stopped on my side of the road, and then there was one on the other side of the road, and I had to stop there for a few minutes till they decided to actually jump across the road and out the way. Ooh, that was not good. But yeah, thankfully he's alright. He's doing better every day. He was still a bit pale looking today, and he's still not quite eating the same amount as he normally eats, but he did much better with his dinner tonight. Last night he didn't really eat very much of his dinner. And I just kind of left him. I didn't worry about trying to force him to have his dinner. So, but yeah, so I'm glad he's doing better, because I was very worried. Thunderstorm now. But yeah, so I'm still super tired, because I got a couple of hours, but I was already tired that night anyway, and that just made it worse. I was instantly alert when he couldn't breathe, but it it still was scary as a parent. But that's so annoying about your thing. That sounds a bit like, ew, didn't think about all these spiders and stuff. Let me just pop that there and go to sleep then. I know, it is crazy. And she was like, she listened to his chest and she was like, oh, well, like, I can't, you know, hear, like, his chest sound good and this and that. And he developed a temp while we were there. So, like, I had to go up to the counter to be like, okay, we've got, there's a creeper there. He's starting to get a temp. So then they gave him Panadol. But yeah, it's just crazy because, so not long after we got Panadol, so I went up there, she took his temp and she said, yep, he needs Panadol, if that's alright to give him. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And then I went to the bathroom to change his nappy because I could feel that it was like pretty dry, pretty wet. So I was like, okay, let's go to the toilet. Changed his nappy, came out, and she brought the Panadol straight over. And then, like, a few minutes after that, we got, like, or probably not a few, probably a bit longer than that, but, like, not long after that, we then got called in to get a bed. So that was fine. They came and did obs, and he basically went to sleep straight away because he'd been napping on and off all night because emergency is, like, pretty loud. There was one lady who was there playing music loudly on a phone at, like, midnight and after midnight. But anyway, and yeah, he just kept, like, he woke up not long before midnight, and I managed to get him to eat something, because I had like snacks, nappies, toys, like I had a backpack full of stuff because I was like, we might be here for a while and who knows what he's going to be like, and trying to have a 3-year-old in the waiting room for hours when they've got nothing to do. So I like came prepared with everything, but didn't end up needing hardly any of it. But anyway, he'd been sipping his water like the whole time we were there. But yeah, he managed to eat a couple of bits of strawberry and a couple of bits of orange that I'd packed for him, or mandarin. And then he, like, his energy sort of picked up a bit. So yeah, he's like singing loudly and like playing a game and stuff, like while he's sitting in my lap. And then he's like, oh, you roar like a lion, mummy. And so I was like, oh, rah. And I did it like quiet like that. And he's like, no, louder. And like the whole waiting room, like he was entertainment for the whole waiting room. They were all like cracking up. Like he was really bringing like a lot of joy to such a terrible and long wait. Like, like there was one person who was there, who'd gotten there at the same time as us, like slightly earlier than us. I think we were there at like 9:30, 9:45, probably closer to 9:45. But they got there at 9:30 and they came in an ambulance, and by like 1 a.m. or something, they were just like, oh, I'm done waiting. And they just went, even though they came in an ambulance. And I'm like, that is wild, like. But yeah, so it was nuts. So yeah, so we went in and we got to bed at around 2:30. And then they came to take his obs and asked if he wanted anything to eat or drink. And he said he would have some strawberry milk. And he had like a couple of tiny sips, but not very much. And I just ended up drinking it. And she's like, if you need a sandwich or anything, like there's a fridge just around there. And I kind of was hungry because I'd been like a week so long without food, but like I also didn't want to leave him, so I didn't end up getting something. I mean, I did pack myself like a little packet of chips just in case, but like I didn't want to eat it while he was like there sleeping anyway, so that was fine. I just left him and I drank his strawberry milk that he didn't really want. After he had a couple of sips, he was like, I'm done, and then he just went back to sleep. But yeah, she was like, it might still be a while, there's still like 2 people in front of you before the doctor comes to see you. And I was like, that's fine, thanks. Like, by that point I was just like, I don't care really, because we're in the home stretch now, we're about to see like a doctor at some point, and we have a bed. So, like, and he was asleep. He was sound asleep. I struggled to wake him, like, when the doctor actually came. And so the doctor came an hour later at 3:30. Like, you know, it took that long for the doctor to even come see us. But yeah, it was nuts. And the doctors are just, yeah, I know, like, it's just frustrating because, like, Sharky's nan, she's had some, like, health issues, and, like, what you're saying about paperwork before. Yeah, she's had some health issues, and she had to go for a scan on her legs, because they just didn't look correct and how they should. So she had to go for a scan, and when they did the scan, they found out that she had a big clot in her leg, and she's had a clot in that leg, like, years ago. And she'd recently had, like, a surgery. I think she'd had surgery on that leg. She had to have, like, a skin, like a mole that was turned cancerous out, or was turning cancerous or whatever, or turning bad or something. But anyway, she, so she had to go to see, them, and, yeah, and so she had, the doctor was like, okay, we want you to go and see, the clot clinic, or the clot clinic is going to be in touch because of this clot and because of age and everything like that. So it was like, okay, that's all good. And the first time that they were gonna, yeah, emergency is crazy. the same said lady who was playing music really loud, also then got in a fight with another lady, and I don't know if they were there together, or not, but yeah, she was, like, trying to sleep then later on, and this other lady came up to her and must have been looking in a bag or something, because she's like, get out of my bag, you're stealing from me, you're stealing. And she's like, everything better be in my bag. And she's like, I was just putting something back, I'm not stealing from it. And she's like, you're trying to take my cigarettes. And yeah, it was nuts. And she's like, my money better be in there. And then the other lady's like, who was like, I don't know, she was giving me weird vibes all night. She was, like, sitting there and she kept looking out the side and, like, kept getting up and going outside. I don't know, she just looked really suspicious. And then, yeah, she was saying that she had a bag outside. She had a suitcase outside or something. I don't know. But anyway, she's like, I had, like, $800 and someone's stolen all my money. And she's like, well, you better not have stolen my money. Anyway, so then they're getting into it, like, to the point I thought they were going to, like, throw hands at each other. And, like, this woke up my child and, like, everybody else who was, like, catnapping. And, yeah, it was, like, nuts. But yeah, anyway, so they, like, they were going to have an appointment with this clot clinic, I think a month ago now or something. And then the day that they were supposed to have it, Sharky's dad had to go into hospital because he had, he had something else on, so they couldn't do the appointment. So that was fine. So it was like, okay, well, the new appointment will be in 2 weeks because the clot clinic is only open, like, Sharky's dad had a big kidney stone, so he had to have it surgically removed because it was too big to pass, and yeah, so Sharky's mum couldn't go to, like, have this appointment with, his nan, because she had to take his dad to the hospital. So they're like, okay, well, the new appointment will be in 2 weeks because the clot clinic's only open, like, every second week. So it's like, okay, that's fine. And then the second one was, like, his second appointment. He had to have a couple appointments just to make sure everything was right. But anyway, so she couldn't do it then. So his auntie came to help with the appointment because it was just over the phone, like on FaceTime or whatever. And they called her and they didn't even have any of her paperwork. Like, so she had paperwork from the doctor with scans of the clot and everything, and scans of the leg and all that. And then when they called, they didn't have any of that information. So, like, that's what made me think of your situation, Katooth, when you were at GP Access and stuff the other day, you know. So they were just like, oh, yep, well, I'll get them to send over the paperwork now or whatever. And so after the appointment, they, like, rang up the doctor and the doctor, like, sent it over. But, yeah, they're like, unless something's, like, really wrong, we'll contact you again in, like, February or something. And it's like, what? That's crazy. Okay, what are you saying? When I had a blood clot, I spent 4 or 5 hours waiting around in emergency. They got some scan and got told you could die at any moment. Go home and take this medicine for a few months. Call an ambulance if you have any of these dozen vaguely described symptoms. So anyway, that's how I caught you. What? That is insane. Oh, I know. Like, there's 2 hospitals that are closer to me and where we live. There's one, like, just around the corner, and there's one probably the same or similar distance to the one we went on Sunday night. But those 2 doctors quite often don't have doctors. Those 2 hospitals quite often don't have doctors on all the time. They only have doctors on every so often, / they have to wait for the doctors to come. Like, they call your doctor and your doctor comes to see you while you're at that hospital. And when I was pregnant with Mini Sharky, first I should say, when I was pregnant with Mini Skievers, I got this condition that basically my body was poisoning my uterus or my amniotic sac, whatever, the part where the baby is, was being poisoned by my own body, and I had to have the my liver was poisoning it, and I had to go on medication, and I had to get induced, because the longer you go without medication for it, the higher risk there is to for a stillbirth. So I had to get induced with her, and when I was pregnant with Mini Sharky, I said to the doctor, when we had to go through medical history and stuff, everything to do with Mini Skievers, I said that I had this condition, and basically you have the condition if you start scratching like mad. Like, if you get really itchy hands, like to the point that I was brushing my hands with a brush with and basically, the longer you have it, the higher risk of stillbirth, so you can't go full term. And I think so my function with her, because I can't remember what the numbers are supposed to be. I think they're supposed to be under 100 or something. And when I got tested with her, when I was at a midwife appointment thingy, and I mentioned it, and they're like, oh, we better get you tested, my levels were like 400 or 500. So they were like ridiculously higher than what they needed to be. It's a good thing that she was actually alright. It's like lagging, something shocking. Actually, I probably should go home so that I can get it. But anyway, so I mentioned it to the doctor, and I said I had this with my first pregnancy, and he said to me that there was a 50% chance of getting it in my second pregnancy. And so I knew what to look out for this time. So I was like, and usually it happens in the third trimester slash the second trimester. Like it doesn't normally happen. It happens more in the later stage of pregnancy than the earlier stages. And anyway, so that was fine. And so I got symptoms for this this condition. So I was like, right, I'm going, and I'd had reduced movement. So I was like, I'm going to the hospital to see if they will at least check on the baby and everything. So I went to the hospital, and this was at the time when there was all major flooding. So the main hospital that I had my baby in and that I went to on the weekend wasn't accessible because of the flooding. I couldn't get there unless I went the back way, and everyone who was going the back way was getting flat tires because of all the potholes. So I didn't want to go that way because it was unsafe. So I had Sharky's parents watch mini Skievers. I went to the hospital and got tested for this condition, and they were like, oh, well, we'll take bloods, but we won't get results back until tomorrow. I sat there for a while, and it was like, oh, okay, whatever. And they're like, we think you just have a rash. Just go to get some Claritine because you're allergic to something. And I'm like, I'm not allergic to something. Like, I'm telling you that now. I'm not allergic to anything. And my doctor told me that I have a 50% chance of getting this condition. But anyway, they sent me home. So that was fine. I went home and I could feel him moving around and stuff. So I didn't really stress. And then when I woke up the next morning, I hadn't felt him all night. I hadn't felt him move all night. So I was like getting stressed out. So I said, I'm going back to the hospital to see them and explain again and hope that, because when I got there, because I went to my local one and they said there's no doctors there. So I said, well, how about I just go to this other one that's close if they've got doctors there. So I ended up going to 2 hospitals the first day. The second day I just went straight back to that hospital in the hopes that there was a doctor there, because the day before there was no doctor there. They're like, they're only coming tonight at like 6 o'clock, and they didn't really want to see it. So I went home, and then I said the next day I woke up and I hadn't felt any movements at all from him overnight, which was so unusual. So I went straight back to the hospital and I sat there for 14 hours with reduced movements, and they're like, oh, you should have gone to the M hospital or the JH hospital. And I was like, I can't go there because the roads are flooded. And I didn't think about the other one, but I was like, it's that far away. It's like 40 minutes away. And stuff. Because I said, isn't it from order of importance? And they're like, yeah, it is, but it's like also people who come in. So all these people who come in before me. Like, there was one girl who got seen before me that had a sore finger. And she was even like, oh, it's feeling a bit better now. Like, she got seen before me, who had been sitting there for 14 hours with reduced movements, and my movements still weren't the same. And so then when I finally went in to see the doctor 14 hours later, and he was like, so you're here for a rash. And I lost it. I burst into tears because I was that worried about the baby, and I was that worried about everything, and they didn't even have the right reason for me being there. If they actually had that I was there for reduced fetal movements, then I might have been seen sooner than 14 hours. I'd been sitting there 14 hours because they thought I was in there because I had a rash, and I'm like, no. And then I had to explain the whole situation again, and he looked at my results, which had come back by then from the day before, and he's like, well, the numbers are high, but the numbers are elevated anyway normally for pregnancy. So he's like, they're not like ridiculously high yet, so you're just gonna have to go back with your to see your GP like in like a few days and see how the numbers pan out then. And I'm like, so are you gonna check the baby's heartbeat, or like, you know, even with like a Doppler? And he was like, oh no, because you've had some movement, so that means that the baby's fine. And I'm like, I was livid, because I was like, even I know, as someone who has been pregnant once and had a baby, like had one baby, that the heartbeat can tell you everything. Like, I had to get moved into surgery to have mini Skievers because her heart rate was high, to indicate that she was distressed. So even I know, as just a layman, that if you check a baby's heartbeat, you can see whether it's distressed. And I was so angry. Like, I ended up putting in an official complaint about it. And when the hospital rang me about my official complaint, the nurse who spoke to me said, oh, I know exactly which, because I didn't know the doctor's name or anything. I was that upset. I came out and I was bawling. Like, the lady and her daughter who had been talking to me, like, they came to like comfort me. And I ended up calling my in-laws because they'd been watching mini Skievers, and I was sobbing in the car. Like, they were like, do we need to drive to you so we can get your car and drive you back home because you're that upset? Like, I was bawling my eyes out because I was so upset. And then when the lady who called me about it, she said, oh, I know exactly who you're talking about, and described him. And I was like, yeah, that's him. And she's like, he is the most arrogant person ever. He's had multiple complaints against him, and he's a local doctor in the area. And I was like, you could not pay me to see. I will never go back to that hospital ever again because of how I was treated that day. And I said, you know, like in my case, thankfully my baby was fine. And after that, I called the hospital that I gave birth in, and they were like, anytime that you have issues, come and see us and we'll get you tested out. But because Mini Sharky was a pain in the neck and dramatic, I had to go back multiple times to reduce movements, but thankfully he got here fine. But yeah, it was just ridiculous. Like, I was sitting there for like 14 hours with reduced movements, only for them to like think I had a rash. And then when the nurse called me all those weeks later, she told me that this hospital has an ultrasound machine. So while I was sitting there, like in distress and worried about my baby that wasn't moving to the normal capacity that he moved in, they could have sent me for an ultrasound to check out the baby. Like, they could have sent me to get an ultrasound and then sent me to my GP, or even just sent me to an ultrasound and been like, yeah, the baby looks fine, like the heart rate's fine, whatever, you know. Like, it boggles my mind. Like, it makes me so mad. And then, yeah, that same hospital, my friend's dad was in there, and he had a heart attack while he was there, and it took them like 3 days to transfer him to a bigger hospital so they could like monitor everything. So I was like, I will never ever go there again. Like, you cannot pay me to go to there. But anyway, we actually went last week to the more distant hospital, and still think it was a good idea. The closer one would have done just as little with an additional 4 to 8 hour wait. Yeah, exactly. Resend because I got a full message. Scary stuff, and unfortunately not surprised there are doctors like that. Yeah, I know. He was like so arrogant. Like, oh, I was like so angry. And then, yeah, just for him to like turn around and be like, oh, well, there has been some movement, so obviously the baby's fine. And I'm like, that's not how it works. Like, you're a doctor. You should know that. Like, I'm not a doctor, and I know that. Like, that is, I'll never, you know. And the fact that he's a local GP, and I just thought, like, imagine. And so then after all that, I, went back to my doctor and explained to him everything that happened, and he took some more bloods, and he was like, yeah, it still does look like you have this condition, you know, because the doctor tried to say to me, oh, it's really early to be, you know, in your pregnancy to be getting this condition. And I'm like, yeah, I'm aware of that, hence why I am here. Like, and he just didn't want to believe me. So I went back to my doctor and I said, like, hey, look, this is what's happening. And so he took bloods and he's like, yeah, it does seem like you have it. But let's take some more bloods just like in another couple of days just to be doubly sure. So we did that a few days later. And yeah, sure enough, I did have this condition, and even though it was earlier than anticipated, so then after that, then I had to get transferred instead of through the midwife, through the doctors, at the hospital I gave birth in, and I had to see them. Thankfully I didn't have to have blood tests as often. Like, I had to have blood tests twice a week because I was like quite a bit through my pregnancy when I found out with mini Skievers, but I didn't have to have blood tests as often with mini Sharky, and because we got onto it straight away, my numbers never got up to anywhere near as high as what they did with her. And yeah, as I said, thankfully he was born safe and healthy, but yeah, still, I'm like, I knew I had it, I knew I wasn't allergic to anything, like, far out, man. I got woken up early one morning by the pathology lab to say something was seriously wrong with my blood test that previous day and to get to hospital immediately and tell them blah. Went to the hospital with a notoriously slow/bad emergency department. They had me wait 12 hours, mostly in a bed, while the doctor came every 2 hours or so to check up on me. Every single time he spoke to me, he had a completely wrong idea about why I was there, and I had to correct him. And the whole time, refusing to let me eat because he might need to operate later. He hadn't decided. That is insane. That's crazy. Is that the JH one that you were at? Because I believe that. And so eventually that night they decided to finally give the treatment pathology lab had told me was urgent 12 hours. That is insane. Did you like put in an official complaint? But had to do it overnight because it was too late to do it in emergency. How frustrating. This is why so many people like have serious injuries and complications, and some people even like die because, you know, some doctors and stuff are incompetent. Not all. Like, I mean, my doctor, he was excellent. And like, the first doctor that I saw when I went to the hospital that I had my son in, they like said to me, oh, your numbers weren't elevated and there was nothing to do, because like my doctor didn't want to prescribe me the medication at first because he's like, pediatrics and, you know, pregnancy and stuff isn't my strong point, so this is what I suggest, but I want the doctors to prescribe, because I had an appointment, I think a couple of days after the appointment that it was confirmed that yeah, I had it, and so he's like, you know, I'll send over all the stuff and they'll you know, like do it for you, because they there's the brown piggo, yeah, and they'll do it for you, because that's not my strong suit, and I'd feel more confident and comfortable if they prescribed it. So I was like, no worries. I get there and they were kind of like, oh, I don't think you're, it wasn't the numbers, it was a certain thing that they said were elevated, and I was like, oh, okay. And I was kind of thinking, I'm sure that's what the doctor said that was elevated, but I didn't like want to argue, so I just sort of didn't say anything. And then my doctor ended up ringing me about something else, and I mentioned to him about it, and he was like, that's not right. So, and this was like a Saturday that he was ringing me. He was ringing me after he finished work on a Saturday, like at, you know, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock or something. So then he was like, oh, no, that's not right. He ended up calling the hospital to speak to someone so that he could confirm with them that yes, that I needed a script for this certain like medication. And then he called me back and said, okay, I got it sorted for you. I'm going to text you a script. Just go and get that at the chemist, like, as soon as you can, and start taking, one a day or whatever it was. Start taking, this dose at blah, blah, blah. So that was fine. And then he was just like, if you have any more troubles with the doctors at, like, this hospital, then just let me know. Just call me and then I will deal with it. So, like he, hands down, is the best doctor I've ever had. He always, like, whenever I see him, he always knows why I'm there. Like, he always takes time to read his notes, like, before we come in. And then if it's been, like, a short amount of time, I'm sure he just remembers why you're there. Like, he's best doctor ever. Like, and he was the one that, really advocated for me to be like, yes, she's not lying. She really has what she says she has. Like, but yeah. The doctor the following morning on the ward was absolutely furious and put in oh, good. I'm glad that the doctor saw it. Because, I mean, as I said, some doctors are excellent and some doctors, like, are useless. So I'm glad a complaint was put in, because that's ridiculous. Like, especially if it was, like, that urgent for you as well, Katooth. Like, to the point that, they're, like, delaying 12 hours. Like, that's ridiculous. And I mean, as I said to, like, the nurse on the phone and stuff, I'm like, in my case with my son, thankfully he was fine, but not everybody is so lucky. Like, it just makes me so angry that I was just dismissed like that. This game is driving me nuts, so it's so laggy. Where's the... So between my experience and several others in our family, we won't go anywhere near... Yeah. But is probably better for their maternity stuff. Yeah. Well, was... Like, once I finally, like, got them and got through to them, like, they were excellent. Like, and they even gave me the direct number for the maternity ward. Like... so that they could, like, I could ring them if I had any concerns or any issues. Like, I could ring them straight away. Nice. I was born, I think, at it also starts with an M, but the one just up from the uni, up around the corner from the uni. So, I think that's the one I was born at. But I got my wisdom teeth out at B. So, I have been to B. Oh, that's... well, I'm pretty sure that's the hospital I was born at, because my parents lived just around the corner when I was born, so... My game is, like, completely frozen. Minecraft is not responding. So we'll see what happens compared to last time this happened. Yeah, that's where I was born too, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's so scary sometimes, like, because you put so much trust and reliance in, like, doctors' hands, that when they're incompetent and terrible like that, it's like, what hope do you have? Like, some doctors are excellent and they deserve all the money they get, but then I think some doctors are just in it for the prestige of being like, I'm a doctor, because they're hopeless. Like, there was one doctor that I used to go to, he never knew what I was there for. I'd turn up and he'd be like, "What can I do today for you, darling?" And I'm like, every time. And I'm like, don't you read your notes? Like, I only got 2 out of 4 wisdom teeth out. The dentist took 3 hours, cancelled the rest of his day because he was too exhausted, and told me I'd need to go to hospital if I ever wanted the other 2 out. Wow. Yeah, well, 2 of my wisdom teeth, the two down the bottom, they were facing the complete opposite direction. So instead of coming straight up, they were coming sideways into the other teeth. So I had to go to hospital to get my wisdom teeth out, and because I was on the public system, it literally took like 5 years or something. I started dating Sharky at the end of high school, and I was on the waiting list before I finished high school. I feel like it might have even been longer than 5 years. It might have been like 7 years or something, because I saw the dentist about my wisdom teeth like before I finished high school. I started dating Sharky at the end of high school, and I got my wisdom teeth out a few weeks to a month after Sharky and I got engaged, and we got engaged exactly 4 years into dating. So we thought it would be fine to do it in clinic, but it turned out the bones were fused in a weird way the dentist hadn't seen before. Oh, that's disappointing. So, did you get the other 2 out? Or they just stayed there because they're fine? Because, I mean, some people, the wisdom teeth just never causes them any issues. And then, nope. So, I assume you haven't had any other issues with them then. Yeah, getting 2 out relieved the pressure. Okay, well, that's good then. There was a lady at the dentist that must have got a tooth out last week when I went to the dentist, because her appointment, she was an older lady, her appointment delayed my appointment. Maybe my teeth are gradually all moving to the left. Well, you never know. Have you had braces before? Because I know someone who has had braces. Like, oh no. Yeah, neither have I. Sharky has. But I know someone who has had to have braces twice because their teeth were like moving. So they had braces when they were a teenager, and then their teeth moved so much they had to have braces again when they were a young adult. And then when I was still friends with them, they were like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to get braces again because their teeth move that much. And I'm like, that is so scary. Like, having to have braces like 3 times. Like, but yeah. Minecraft is still not responding. Let's see if I can try and force close. I assume that's that. Okay. Let's see if we can get it to work. Let's send that. Let's try and see if we can get it to work again. I've just force closed it. We shall see. Because I think this happened last time as well, so... Ow. I might have to, close. I might have to end the stream. But yeah, hospitals are weird. And doctors are weird. We've been talking about little things so much I barely noticed the Minecraft, but I did have a comment on your exploring earlier that I forgot to type. My, like, basically go in a straight line. In real life, people have safety ropes or parachutes for in case of fall. Yeah, true. I'm just like, yeet. YOLO. I mean, I'm sure in real life I'd probably have safety ropes and stuff, but I'm just like, live and let live. If I die, I die. I'm trying to be somewhat careful, but yeah, there's been a few times where I'm like, oh yeah, probably should have been a little bit more careful and look before jumping down. Oh, there's a cat, an ocelot. Oh, and it's got a baby. That's so cute. In Minecraft, people have chips in case it falls. I'm so excited because it's like almost the end of the year, which means that next year I get a new Hunger Games movie. Actually, I'm heaps keen because this month my Audible is up for its subscription renewal, so I'll get 12 more credits for the year, and I'm going to get the Harry Potter full cast audio edition. And I'm very excited. I'm very keen. I must have already been here because there's nothing in here. I should binge the Hunger Games movie at some point. I've only probably seen the first and bits and pieces of summer. Yeah, you should. I thoroughly enjoyed the movies. I feel like of all the series that I've watched and also read the books thoroughly, I feel like Hunger Games is probably one of the closest ones to the books. Like, obviously there are still some things different and some things they've missed out, but I feel like it's closer to the books than Hunger Games. Than Harry Potter. And Twilight. I mean, obviously, when you've got something like Harry Potter, you've got that many books, and it's definitely closer than Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson wasn't really anywhere near close to what. Percy Jackson was frustrating because then obviously they made the new TV series of Percy Jackson, so it was like, oh, this will be great because it'll be closer to the books and it won't leave as much stuff out because, like, you know, with a TV series, you can make, you know, as many episodes as you like. So you can have as many episodes as you want to include everything or as much as what the books have as possible. But then they didn't do that. They still changed a heap of stuff. And like some people were like upset because they made one of the characters like a character of color. Even though they were described in the book as, like, you know, blonde hair and stuff. So they're like, oh, it can't be, you know, a character of color. But I'm just like, I could care less about that. Like, it doesn't bother me that they chose, like, a character of color. But, like, what I care about is, like, book accuracy. You know, you go making this new series so you can make it, you know, closer to the books, from my understanding. And then you don't actually make it closer to the books. But it was good. But yeah, Hunger Games is good. Like, Hunger Games, I think, is the one that I go back to when I feel like I haven't read in ages and I'm in a reading slump. Hunger Games is what I go back to. I actually just started listening to another audiobook by Suzanne Collins. I was having a mental blank then of what her name was. Obviously the author of Hunger Games. I called Gregor the Overlander, I think it's called. Let me just double check. It's definitely Gregor. Gregor the something. It's either Gregor the Overlander or Gregor the Underlander. And I feel like it's Overlander. And I have been enjoying that. I have 0 credits. I know. Soon I'll have credits. Yeah, Gregor the Overlander. Let me just read the... Oops. Title details. So, allow. Yes, go away too. So it says, rich in suspense and brimming with adventure, the New York Times bestseller Underland Chronicles. Yeah, that's why, because it's called the Underland Chronicles. That's why I couldn't think of whether it was over or under, because it's both. It's like Gregor the Overlander, but then it's the Underland Chronicles. Unfold the fate of the Underland and the great warrior Gregor. Suzanne Collins is also the author of the best-selling Hunger Games trilogy. When Gregor falls through a grate in the laundry room of his apartment building, he hurtles into the dark Underland, where spiders, rats, and cockroaches coexist uneasily with humans. This world is on the brink of war, and Gregor's arrival is no accident. A prophecy foretells that Gregor has a role to play in the Underland's uncertain future. Gregor wants no part of it until he realizes it's the only way to solve the mystery of his father's disappearance. Reluctantly, Gregor embarks on a dangerous adventure that would change both him and the Underland forever. And I have enjoyed it a bit. I must say I haven't immediately liked it in the same way that I liked the Hunger Games. But I'm hoping it'll kind of be like The Hobbit, because it took me a little bit to get into The Hobbit, and then when I got into it, like, I really got into it. So I'm hoping that's kind of the same case for this as well. But we shall see. Oh, I should actually eat, because I just realised how hungry I am. But yeah, I feel like anybody... I don't really read books anymore. I mostly read fanfiction, but I used to reread Anne McCaffrey books crazily often. That name sounds really familiar. I'm gonna have to go and look her up and see. I feel like I haven't read in ages. I feel like the last thing I read too was fanfiction, so... Oh, no, actually, no, it wasn't. I did finish reading one of the new Percy Jackson books that came out last year, the year before. Might have been last year. Must have been last year, I think. Because I feel like the other one came out this year. Because I remember ordering it from Scholastic Book Club through Mini Skievers' school. Because, like, that was a dream come true. I was like, I used to love book club, like, you know, when I was at school. And now to be able to still order it, like, that's amazing. I feel like I need to know what kind of fan fiction you read. Or I need to know, like, the fandom that you read fan fiction. There are Worm fanfics I've loved and reread multiple times, but I feel the urge to reread Worm myself because it's dark and depressing. Is that a game or a book or a series I've never heard of? Or like an actual worm? Similarly, I'm more likely to reread the better Harry Potter fanfics than Harry Potter itself, because quite frankly they're better. Yeah, I know, right? Oh, I have some amazing Harry Potter fanfics that I have saved that I've reread multiple times, and they just make me cry like every time I read it. Worm is sort of novel. It was released as a... Oh, okay, fair. I wrote a fanfiction once that I intended to like fully make a series. And it was a Twilight fanfiction. But I feel like it was... I got a couple of good comments on it. And then I just never went... I fully intended to make it a series, like, or a novel, but in the end, I just left it. It was kind of just a standalone one chapter. And I must say, I currently have, like... I mean, I haven't touched them in a few years now, but I currently do have 2 Harry Potter ones in the works, like... But, I haven't gone back to them. I would like to go back to one of the 2 of them because I have like the whole story mapped out in my head. I just have to actually write it. So a friend of mine has written a fair few. Started with Ranma and similar anime, moved on to Harry Potter, and now dabbling in the... Nice. Yeah, I started writing a couple of Harry Potter ones, and I would like to get back to it, but it's just one of those things that... I mean, maybe when Mini Shark is at school and I have like a lot more time, but I got like no time. And then it's like between that and then also all my like cross-stitch projects, like... I mean, at the moment I'm cross-stitching bookmarks for Mini Skievers' teachers for end of year gifts. And I'm still working on my best friend's cross stitch for her 30th birthday. That was 3 years ago now. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna have to do this for your 40th now. Like, I mean, not that she knows that I was doing it for her. It was a surprise, but like... Oops. Oops. See if I can get this skeleton. Oh, one shot. One shot. But yeah. Let me turn F3 on. Okay, got him. I can see all those creepers over there. I want to pick up my arrows. Trying to be mindful of the creepers as well. The first shot was just turning... I know, right? It was just turning the lights on. Nice, got it. Got it. I'm surprised I am actually getting these. Nice. Because yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure this is fire. Oh, there goes Shark. There comes Sharky. He's back. Oops, down a bit. Up a bit. Nice. Hopefully there's not too much over here. Oops. I prefer a bow, I've only got to hit it twice. Okay. Here comes the zombies. I feel like I need Novak back here so I can be more chaotic. There's a zombie in your pile of loot. Score. Right. Free zombie. Alright, I need to put some stuff in. Because I've run out of room. I also want to pick up my XP. More zombies in my pile of loot. I'd like to pick up that bone. I need bones for those dogs. I don't like to have my back to things though. Hello, Sharky.
Good evening.
Did you win? Oh, then what are you doing home?
We won one of the doubles, and I was this close to win my singles, but didn't quite get there.
I thought I told you not to come home if you don't win. He's laughing, but I'm not joking. No, I am joking. Sharky had tennis tonight. Like a noob. I finished my tennis for the year. It's the person that organised it. Oh, there's a spider up there. The person that organises it is currently overseas in America on a cruise. So we finished a couple weeks ago. Where is it? There it is. I don't know if it's coming over to me. Oh no, it doesn't look like it. Down a bit. Nice. Oh, I ran out of, I'm like wondering why I can't put any torches down because I don't have any in my hand. And also, I can see another creeper over there. There it is. I was like, where did it go? Down a bit. Down a bit. Stop walking away. There we go. Got him. There we go.
Nice, you got the bow of illumination.
My season isn't over. My team made the final. Yay! That's epic. You see, the top 4 teams make the finals, and there were 4 teams in our division. Like a good automatically generated probability of question. Still, I'm not revoking your yay, even though you're automatically in there. Still, yay. Yeah, Sharky did relay your message after my last stream about how your squash went the next day in the heat when you hadn't played in a long time. Still, good job. Actually, the funniest thing is that I feel like I started playing tennis when I started going out with Sharky. I never really played tennis before. So, like, I'm not that good. Like, and our teams at tennis, because, I mean, we're social tennis, but, like, we play in a comp. But, like, there's us, the mixed Monday night, and then there is the Tuesday nights that Sharky plays, and that's for the stronger competitors. So some people at Tuesday night, not Sharky or his dad or his brother, but some of the other players, they play as if they're playing for sheep stations, when really they're playing for like $10 or something, or $20 or something. But anyway, and I don't really know how it works too much for Tuesday night, but for Monday night tennis, we have a number 1 player in each team, and then we have a number 2 player. So I'm a number 2 player because I'm just nowhere near as good as some of the other players, but that's fine, you know. I don't need to be good at everything. And anyway, this comp, I had 2 different partners. Because the first partner that I had, she can only play every second week because of work. She works the other second week. So she was my player 1 week, and then and then the second week I had another guy who was my player, and he was also a number 1. So that was fine. And then partway through our comp, he got plantar fasciitis or some other heel condition. So his doctor told him he wasn't allowed to play tennis for the rest of the year. So instead of him, I had the lady that organised it, because she wasn't in a team this year, but she's still got to come every week to like get the money and to lock up and stuff like that. So I had her, or I'd have like other random reserves. So, and I feel like every time I played, I could probably think of only a couple of times where I actually won. I mean, there were a few times that I was actually away, but yeah. And I won once or twice before I had mini Skievers, and then it had been like a long time. I think I had a long time off. I didn't go back for all that long. Maybe like a game or 2 or something. And then I had to go off because I was pregnant with Minnie. Oh man, no wonder there's so many. Hang on. And anyway, and I definitely have not won. Like, my team has come last every comp since I have come back from having mini Sharky. Until this comp, my team actually won, and I'm like, how did that happen? I don't know how it happened, but my team won, so I won myself $10. No, sorry, I won myself $20. So that was good. I won myself a $20 gift card to the shops, and I spent it on groceries. So, and it was funny because Mini Skievers, she's such an encourager. She is a good encourager, but she was like talking to Sharky's mum, and she's like, did you think that Mummy was going to win? And she was like, nope. And I said, neither did Mummy. Because she's like, I thought Mummy was going to win. Which, I mean, she says that about everything. She always says she thinks stuff. But yeah, it was like so funny. Because she was like, I thought she was going to win. And it was like, I was not going to win. There we go. So my team won. Huzzah. I don't know how, but we did it. So I just feel like the other teams just must have done a whole lot worse. Because, like, if my team won, then I don't know. And then the last night of the comp, because we always have a party, so we like go and we eat. I had to turn up late, so the guy who got plantar fasciitis, he was turning up that night. So I messaged him, and I was like, because there was no other reserves available that night, and I was like, can you please fill in for me? Because I heard you're going to be there tonight. And I was like, you don't have to run. You don't have to do anything. Just, like, stand there. And if a ball's coming to you, then hit it. But, like, I'm happy for you to just stand there and do nothing if you can't. But, like, Sharky got gastro. Or had a vomiting bug that day. So I was like, I will be there. but I will be there late because I need to put the kids to bed first. And so once the kids were in bed, then I went down there. Oh dear. I'm gonna have to take these back. Yeah, then I went down there. And so I got there and they were on their second set, and I was like, do you want me to take over or not? And he was like, yeah, that's fine. I gotta go and get food. So he brought an empty plate, which is so funny. So him, if you like know who he is, you know that's exactly what it is. He brought an empty plate, but he had to go and buy stuff at the shop to fill the plate. So yeah, so he was like, okay, I'm going to the shop to buy stuff to fill this plate, so you can fill it. And I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. And I played one serve, or not one serve, one set where the opponent served, and my team won that, and it was like, okay, game. So my team won the set, like that set, and so then they're like, okay, well, I will then so then my partner says, because the team behind us, I think they might have been six, either 4 or 6 games behind us or something. I can't remember exactly. It wasn't like all that many. So my partner was like, how much more do we have to play before it's definitely a win for us? And so we looked at what they scored, and then we played the first 3 games in the third set, because we play 3 sets, and it's first to 6, and then if you do a tiebreaker, get to a tiebreaker where it's 5-6, then it's first to 7 or 2 points above. So we play 3 sets. So we played 3 games in the first set, and then it was up to my serve, and it started to spit, and they were just like, yeah, we're calling it. There's no way they can beat us. And so we did. We called it, and we won. Because the other team did not too good, and we did. My team, well, which I mean was kind of a little bit unfair, because the guy I had filling in, he was feeling better, so he was actually running a little bit, but yeah, he was like kind of back to normal. So we won 6-love, and we won 6-love, and 6. Oh, and 3-love. So they didn't get any points that night, and we got all the points. Okay. We actually finished first because one of our players moved to Adelaide with no notice. We would have played the beginner, our 4, as our number 3 out of 3 every week, and he'd probably have lost. But with him gone, we had to play our top 3 or double up. So playing our number 3, playing against other teams, number 4s, pretty much earned the points we won by. Nice. I'll keep those potatoes in here. Keep that. And I'll keep that. And I'll keep that. But yeah, oh well, good job. And I think I might end the stream there because it is getting on and I'm tired and I want to go to bed. So at some point, like a couple weeks ago when I was going to stream and Sharky had the night off, but then I was just too tired to stream, so I didn't. Sharky had gotten RuneScape set up. So I am keen at some point, maybe even next Monday. Couldn't do it this Monday because Sharky had a meeting. But maybe even next Monday, or maybe even on Thursday. Just depends on the day. But yeah, at some point, soon, hopefully do play some RuneScape. I used to play RuneScape back in the day at the library, so it was like my favorite game to play. But yeah, so I'm keen to do that. So maybe next week I might stream on a Monday, because I gotta play RuneScape when Sharky's around, just in case something goes wrong with the stream and everything like that to begin with. So and once we sort of had the first stream and get all the levels and everything right, then I could do it on a Tuesday. But if it's Monday, you have to overthink it. I don't know if I can. I'm not the same. RuneScape could work for that. Yeah, it could. I'm not the same kind of overthinker as Sharky. I like to just play for fun. Like, I'm just like, yeah, no thanks. So Sharky can overthink it for me. But yeah, so. But anyway, I'm gonna end it there. I don't know when the next stream will be. If it is next Tuesday, then it'll just either be Minecraft or Sims. Or maybe even like Cookie Clicker and doing some more reading, because we did have some comments on our YouTube video of the streams where I would read a book while I played Cookie Clicker, and they want me to continue. So, but I mean, that was ages ago, so I don't know if they're still gonna be watching it, but I would like to continue that just so I can finish the series. But yeah, not sure what it'll be next week, but if I stream on a Tuesday. But if I stream on a Monday or a Thursday, then it will possibly be RuneScape, so I'm keen for that. But yeah, anyway, good night, Katooth. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for the chat, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.